I'm going off on a tangent. I will go down that rabbit hole and I will drag you with me. But this separation from intentionality and intentional thinking, doing, consuming has also very much separated us from our community. I think it's time to really shift the paradigm, to really shift how you view things and how you look at things. Hey guys, welcome back in. Today's going to be a little different than what I normally talk about. It is going to make sense in the long run, but bear with me while I get there. First and foremost, I have been fighting for days with my video editing software to try to get everything to export for my next video of 1 Corinthians, and it's not doing what I want it to do. I'm going to edit this video with a different editor just to make sure that I can actually get something to export before I even try to get it going. So apologies in advance that the Bible study is taking a little longer, but there's tons of other videos you can watch or rewatch for Bible study in the meantime. But two, something that has come across my social media feed a couple of times and has kind of been in the back of my mind here lately has been something pretty benign at first glance, but I think it's really integral and really important in the long run. And that is the importance of supporting local small businesses, locally owned mom and pop shops, the brick and mortar or the online, if somebody happens to run an online shop in your area. And I just wanted to discuss why it is so important to try to go with the local option first if you can. And I'm not going to lie, I am guilty of the same thing. It is more convenient sometimes to go to the chain coffee shop or the chain grocery store or the chain restaurant because the chain's going to be consistent. The chain's probably going to have what you want. It's going to be quick and easy and instantly gratifying. But it is so important to invest into your community. And that is the easiest way to invest in your community. And you can support these businesses for free. Find them on social media, give them a like or a follow, share their information. If you hear somebody looking for something, services or business opportunities, whatever. And you're like, hey, I remember such and such place. This might help, name dropping them like that. And I say this because of two reasons. One, I saw a social media post on Facebook today from a small business in my hometown, which I will plug their information there. And I'm also going to put all of the information of every place, every business that I talk about. I'm going to put as much information as I can in the description box. It's the local arcade in my hometown. It's called Wayback. Wayback's? Yeah, Wayback's Arcade. Number one, they're so very unique. I think they're even the largest arcade in Louisiana. Let me look that up. Yeah, they are the largest classic arcade in the entire state of Louisiana. And like I said, I'll plug some info in there down below for you guys. They're incredible. And they posted about a couple of local entertainment spots in central Louisiana closing down. It was an axe throwing place and one of those indoor kids parks, with climbing and trampolines and that kind of thing. And he was talking about in his post, he's one of the co-owners, about how everybody in central Louisiana claims that, or they complain that nothing fun, nothing cool, nothing interesting ever stays in central Louisiana. And he said, well, yeah, it's because you guys don't frequent the mom and pop shops. You don't go to the locally owned businesses. All of the comments on the articles about these places closing was talking about, we need a Dave & Buster's, or we need a this, or we need a that. And he commented, he said, okay, Dave & Buster's would be a direct competitor for me. And to take your family of 4 to Dave & Buster's for the night, it's going to cost you over $200 to eat, to play, to do whatever. At my arcade, it's probably going to cost less. And you supported a local business in the process. You helped keep food on my family's table. You helped keep my doors open so that I can continue to serve my community. And that really struck a chord with me because he's entirely right. The place that I'm from, they focus on all of the big things that the big cities have, all the chain stores and all of the shopping opportunities. There have been so many great little businesses go out of business in central Louisiana because people just didn't frequent them. They didn't check them out. And I know a lot of it's because people didn't know they existed. One of the things he mentioned in his Facebook post was that he's had people come through the door and say, oh, I didn't even know we had an arcade in central Louisiana. I didn't even know this was a thing. And I know he spends money on advertisements. I've seen some of the TV advertisements. I've seen or heard the radio advertisements. I see their stuff pop up as a sponsored post on my Facebook feed sometimes. So they pay for advertising. I don't think people see it because, number one, the world is inundated with ads, banners, and flyers. So we've unfortunately trained ourselves to just kind of block out that information. But two, people don't think to look for local stuff when they're shopping or when they're trying to get a service or, whatever. Another locally owned business in central Louisiana is Magnolia Air, heating, cooling, electric. They service central Louisiana. And they're actually owned by my family. Like my cousin and her husband, or it's actually her husband's business. She is an incredible stay-at-home mom. Shout out to you, Natalie. Now he's got his own business. It's thriving. Well, I'm assuming it's thriving. I see their trucks. When I'm in town visiting, I do usually see one or two of their trucks, scooting around. And I know they're good at what they do. My family's been in the HVAC industry for a long time. So they've got a fount of knowledge to draw from and to utilize. And Clayton's a great guy too, like A+ individual, fantastic human being. And I know they're doing good because word of mouth helps these businesses like this thrive. And also it's an air conditioning company in the center of the state of Louisiana. Everybody's got an air conditioner, and at some point or another, everybody's going to need it serviced. But they're really good at what they do. And I know my mom has had them come out and do some work. I know my dad has had them do work. It's important, in my opinion, even though they are family, even though everybody thinks, oh, well, you're related, you should get a discount or you should get it for free. Absolutely not. Happy to pay for your services. Now, would I like a little discount? Like maybe don't charge me the upcharge on the parts. Let me pay for that at cost, or, give me a little off the top, like maybe cut my taxes in half or something. That'd be great if you can. If you can't, send me the bill, because I'm going to have to get this service done somewhere else or provided from someone else. I'll have to get the product from somewhere else. Like it's got to be done. And I think it's important to be able to support your family or your friends when they open businesses, like pay for it. My husband's uncle had a restaurant in Massachusetts, where he's from, in the little town he's from. And unfortunately, he had to close his diner because just the economy's rough and wasn't able to keep the doors open. And I hate that for him, because we went and we had a meal and, I got my wallet out to pay the check. He's like, oh, no, it's your family. It's on the house. It's like, this wasn't free. It cost something. Please let me pay my bill. Your business doesn't run on hopes and dreams and family discounts. It takes dollars and cents, just like everybody else's. And I want to be supportive. I want to pay. I remember him being so adamant, your family, it's free. I should be paying more than everybody else because I'm family, in my opinion. But that's why I probably shouldn't run a business. A friend of mine also posted, and I'm going to move over so I can put his logo and everything up. It's Top Dog Security in the Boston area. He posted about how a friend of his also owns a small business and fixed his lawnmower and billed him for it. And he was happy to pay because that's his business. That's what he does. He's not expecting a freebie because his friend has skills that he doesn't. I think that's so incredibly important that him as a new business owner, fresh out the gate with his new business opened this year, is still willing to invest in other new businesses or other locally owned businesses, because he now understands from a whole new perspective how important that investment is. And he was just talking about how you really need to support your friends, support your family. If you can't pay for a service, or if you can't afford the products that they sell, and you got to find other solutions, give them a like on Facebook, go follow their page on social media, share their information, which again, every business I talk about is going to be linked down below. You're going to be able to find them. Support them the best way that you can for free. Follow their YouTube channel if they have one. Again, share their social media posts. Word of mouth. If somebody in central Louisiana told me, oh, my air conditioner's going out, straight up, hey, you should check out Magnolia Air. They'll do a great job. Prices are reasonable. Service is fantastic. They're going to take care of you. Give them a call. Or if I knew more people in the Boston area, Brockton, Taunton, etc. If I knew more people in that area and they said, oh, I'm going out of town for a week and I really would like somebody to come check on my house. I know a security guy. I'm sure they have a service available for you. Or if you're opening a business in the area and you want security on your construction site or security in your business, they totally could do that. And I would include more information about the other small business that he talked about, but I could not find, I couldn't find him on social media. I couldn't find him online. So I think it was Workhorse, mobile small engine repair, Workhorse, mobile mechanic. Don't remember exactly, but Brockton area. And Philip, if you're watching this, put their info in a comment down below. But it's so important. And I now work for a locally owned small business. I work for, a veteran owned business. And that is important too, in my opinion. It is so important to support the local places. If you can go to a local bakery and get a birthday cake and some cupcakes made for $40, which it probably costs more than that because everything is expensive nowadays. But regardless, if let's say it's $40 for a birthday cake and a dozen cupcakes at the local bakery, and you can get the same thing at Walmart for $30. If you can afford that extra $10, go to the mom and pop place. It's going to be better quality. It's going to be freshly made. You're going to probably be able to get a more custom experience and a more custom result from the small place because that's all they do. Walmart, bakery, they got all this other stuff that they do every day. Take advantage of the smaller niche focused business and also investing in your local community. Because, going back to that Facebook post from Waybacks, he was talking about this is why stuff doesn't stay in Cenla. This is why we don't have stuff. It's because you don't go there. You don't look for local options. And the advertising budget for the big places blows the little places out of the water. So it's, they pop up first on Google or Facebook or, whatever, however you're looking for something. All of that to talk about local businesses and local options. And I'm going to link some stuff down below for local places in my area in East Texas. I've already done a shout out to Cenla and a shout out to Massachusetts. I might as well plug some places that are close by that I like and can say for certain it's a quality experience. But all of that to say, that's something that differs between my generation. I'm a millennial, was born in the 90s, and the generations before me and the generations after me. Because my generation, I feel like, was the turning point. I grew up with a VCR. We didn't have a TiVo, so live TV was live TV unless you recorded it on tape. When we did finally get something with a DVR, it was incredible. Like my family, my dad owned his own business. Both my parents owned their own businesses. But my dad owned an audio video business. So we did have a lot more technology in our home than most people did, but it was still playing in the mud and playing pretend and swimming in the pool and playing mermaids. And if you say, oh, I never did that, and you're more than 30 years old, you either never swam in a pool when you were a kid or you are lying through your teeth. Like, don't even play. My generation saw the transition from looking something up in the phone book, billboards, radio advertisements, local TV ads, flyers on your car, and it wasn't something sketchy and terrible. Driving through the main strip in town, whether it was Main Street or, another street, another section of town where all the main business opportunities were, like the good rental spots, if you will. It's not like that anymore. Amazon can have anything at your door like that in most places. And if it's not next day delivery or 2-day delivery, it's still pretty quick. They pride themselves on how fast they can do things. But let me tell you what, sometimes slow quality items, slow quality service is way better than fast and cheap. But I see the change from the previous generations into this, the new generations and how society is. Word of mouth was big. Again, billboards, radio ads, TV ads. When you needed something, if you didn't know where you could get the service or the product or whatever, you called a friend or you talked to them at lunch or you asked a coworker, hey, I've got a flat and I need to know where the best place is to get my tire patched in town. Or my lawnmower broke down and I need to know who can work on small engines. Do you know anybody? Because I don't know anybody. I couldn't find anything in the phone book. Those intentional actions are so few and far between now. And that's something that's been very heavy on my heart and on my mind over the last few years is intentional living, intentional consumption, not just food, but media consumption, how I spend my time, how I utilize the square footage in my house and the storage space and, the vehicles that I invest in. Honestly, even the quality of the trash bags that I buy and where I source all of these things. We're not intentional like people were in the previous generation. Gen Xers, y'all know what I'm talking about. You can remember, I'm sure, if any you were born in, technically 85 is a millennial. So if you were born in 80, 82, you probably still saw it. Your parents, being really intentional, or even people that are my parents' age. My parents are in their 60s. I asked my mom, how many sets of clothing did you have for school growing up? And she said, well, I didn't have much. I just had a couple of skirts and, a couple of nice blouses and this, and this. I was like, okay. And I'm assuming you had one nice set of clothes for church, maybe two, and one or two nice sets of clothes for, funerals or other formal events. And that was it. Yeah, that was it. Did you need anything more than that? Well, no, but I'm sure you wanted more than that. Well, of course, I always wanted more, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it is today. We want something, so we go get it. We go to Target, we go to Walmart, we go to TJ Maxx, Home Goods, or the thrift store. If you want to be more frugal, thrift stores are full of stuff that you can buy. Or the consignment shop. Or if you can't find it that way, you go online on Mercari or Vinted or ThredUp. And if you can't find it that way, you go to Amazon or Temu or Shein. There is something, somewhere, somehow, you can get what you want with little to no, there's no obstacle in your way. The internet is the super highway of the information and shopping. Honestly, the internet is 99% shopping at this point, I swear. Information superhighway, that's what I was looking for. I've not had enough coffee today. There's a way to satiate that impulse desire. Life is so fast. It's all hustle culture and fast-paced living, fast fashion. Nothing's intentional anymore. Nothing is thought out and planned. And, you want to go on vacation, put it on a credit card. You want to go do this once in a lifetime thing, put it on a credit card. You want to go to Disney 16 times in a year, put it on a credit card. That is insane unless you live next door to a Disney park. And even then, my goodness, so expensive. But all of these different things, society today just tells you, oh, pay for it later. Have what you want now. YOLO, FOMO, self-care. Oh my goodness. No. I'm going off on a tangent. I will go down that rabbit hole and I will drag you with me. But this separation from intentionality and intentional thinking, doing, consuming has also very much separated us from our community. You're no longer in tune with what's available in your community, in your local area. Again, I'm in East Texas, which that's a big swath of Texas. I'm not going to lie. That's a big chunk of Texas. I would much rather support a mom and pop local place, even if it was a little more difficult to get to, my choices were more limited, or I had to wait for something to come in. I'd rather support the mom and pop and keep food on their table and pay for their kids' dance lessons or whatever extracurriculars kids do these days. I think it's the easiest way to support your community, invest in your community, and to improve things. Because if you live in central Louisiana, you live in Pineville or Alexandria, or, you live in Brockton or, those areas, and you're like, oh, we don't really have anything. There's nothing much going on. Invest in what you do have so that people see if they do open something, if they do start something, there will be support from the community. And that's actually something that I'm really, really impressed with in East Texas. I see so many local businesses thriving because people want to support them. They would go out of their way and would rather spend the money on something local than support the big chains. And I'm not saying that the big chains don't get their support. They definitely do. I mean, I was having a conversation with my boss last week. He was talking about how, oh, you should go to this coffee place, which put their information in the description box down below. You should go to Coffee Mill to get your coffee. Don't go into Starbucks. Don't go to Seven Brew. They're a great little mom and pop chain or mom and pop spot. They really are. Their large is kind of small, but I get it. They don't get the bulk discounts that the bigger places can get because they're not buying for a chain. They're buying for a single location. But the coffee quality was great. I enjoyed my beverage. It was cheaper than Starbucks, and it was pretty fast too. Like, there was a car in front of me that ordered a lot, and they had them pull forward so that they could bring them everything. But still, it was great. And I won't lie. Sometimes it's easier for me to go to Starbucks. I don't love Starbucks, but sometimes it's the easiest option. I prefer 7 Brew out of the chains that are available locally. But I'm going to do my best when I want to get a coffee out and about. I'm going to try to go to a local place. There's a couple of local places here in my area that I don't like. I have tried them. I think their coffee tastes very bad. But they serve a purpose in the community. They are investing into the community simply by existing and by providing, put their info there, Silver Grizzly. They provide a great place to sit and to study and to kind of have your coffee shop vibes. Personally don't like their coffee, but hey, whatever. It's a great little business. There's another business in East Texas. It's a skate shop. We don't even have stuff like that where I'm from. It wouldn't survive, which is really unfortunate. There's a bookstore in Nacogdoches. They don't have a physical locale anymore, like a brick and mortar front. They do function out of their home, but I'm going to list their info down below for you. They do online stuff for you. Like if you want to order a book and have it shipped, I do believe they offer shipping or go pick it up. Like I said, they still operate a storefront out of their home. I loved going to their brick and mortar when they had one. I loved hanging out there. I would spend money every time I went in, even if it was just buying, a couple of bookmarks and I'm talking like the nice handmade stringy ones, not just like paper bookmarks, but, buying something like that or, grabbing a couple of used books, whatever. I wanted to invest in the shop when I went in. I didn't just want to freeload and, play with the cat, because they do have a store cat that I absolutely loved getting to snuggle with occasionally. He was adorable. I loved my Atticus cuddles. And there's also another bookshop in Nacogdoches. I'll list their info down below. They do have a brick and mortar location. I don't know if they have a shop cat. I haven't been in ever. Actually, the one time I stopped in and had time to venture around, because I was working when I was in Nacogdoches. When I had time to go in, they were actually closed for a family event, and they were out of town. So I didn't have the opportunity to actually go in, but from what I've seen online and the view that I was able to see inside the store that one time at the storefront, great little place. If you're watching this from East Texas, Brockton, Boston area, Central Louisiana, Shreveport area, Texarkana, anywhere, I thoroughly encourage you in the comments, leave some information about your favorite local business. Tell us what they do best, why you love them, and if they've got a website or a Facebook or whatever, link them. I would totally love to check them out and support them with a follow or a like or whatever. That's something that's really important too, is we've got the internet at our fingertips. You've got $1,000 computer in your back pocket almost all the time. You've got the opportunity to share and encourage for free with social media. So I encourage you to do that today and all this summer, the entire month of June, month of July, month of August, all this summer. Support local when you can, where you can, how you can. If you can't purchase anything, follow them on Facebook or X or TikTok, Instagram, whatever social they use. If you have a friend that has a YouTube channel, go follow them. Go like their videos. Watch their videos. If you don't want to necessarily watch it with the sound on, cut it on mute and have it play. Support them that way. Interact in the comments if you can. It's so easy and so accessible for most people to support that way. And if you can monetarily support your friends' businesses and your friends', retail stores or online ventures, do so. Buy their book. In my case, I have a book, and if you want to buy it, you can on Amazon. That info's down below too. Pay for the services they offer. Don't ask for a discount when you go into their restaurant. Pay the bill. Leave a tip. Do it exactly how you would if you were anywhere else. Because that's, if you can afford to do so, that is so, so important. And I guarantee you, your friend seeing you support them in that way, or your family member seeing you support them in that way, is going to give them an incredible confidence boost. It's going to grow their sense of camaraderie with you. Do it if you can. Keep in mind that when you invest in your community that way, when you support your community that way, it's showing people that if they do want to try to open a business or do something or provide a service, that there will be support in the area. Honestly, I think that is the most Christian thing we can do, is be supportive of the things that we can support. Share that information the best way that you know how and that you can. Share their stuff on Facebook. It's free, costs you nothing. Share their stuff on Instagram. Do the retweet, if that's what they still call it on X, repost, whatever. I haven't been on there in forever. Invest in the local opportunities. You're going to get better customer service. You're probably going to get a better quality product. You're probably going to get a better quality service when you go locally. Do your best to be as supportive as possible. Remember that when you buy the $40 cake instead of cupcakes from the mom and pop bakery instead of the $30 cake and cupcakes at Walmart, you invested in your community. You helped keep the doors open and the lights on for them. It's just, again, we have moved so very far away from that intentional, community-focused lifestyle and purchasing habits. Because again, society tells us you need to have it right now. You need to get exactly what you want, exactly how you want it, and you need to throw a fit if you don't. No, you don't. All of that. I've been rambling for over 30 minutes. All of this to say, shop local, support local. If you want to see something great in your community and you're tired of seeing local businesses come up and close and just nothing fun or cool sticks, make a point of looking up all the local options for what you regularly shop for or regularly do. The local restaurants, the local game stores, the local arcades, the local computer fix-it guy. Don't go to Geek Squad. Go see your local computer dude. Sometimes you can't support local. Sometimes there's not an option. And if that's the case, is it something that perhaps you could provide your community? Is this an opportunity for you to start your own business or to be entrepreneurial? If that's not something you've ever considered, obviously pray about it. Talk to God about it. But if you're in a position where you just want to do something different, you want to invest in your community, and you want to no longer work for a big corporation or a big chain or whatever situation you find yourself, is there something that you can provide to your community that's currently not being provided? Is there a way that you can serve them by providing a service or opening a storefront or whatever? What can you do to serve your community in that way? Because I have seen so many local businesses open and close in my hometown. I think it's time to really shift the paradigm, to really shift how you view things and how you look at things. Be more intentional. Focus on the local shopping and the local option. Invest in your community. Invest in the mom and pop shops, even if it's an online opportunity. Like, I was looking for some computer accessories today and I stopped into Best Buy. They didn't have what I wanted. And I thought, as I was walking out the door, I bet I could find it online, on eBay and support a small business instead of supporting this multi-million-dollar conglomerate. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can find it locally. There's a couple of little local computer fixing places in my area. And I think I'm going to poke my head in and see, hey, I'm looking for this. If you have it, how much is it? And if you don't, can you get it for me? I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to be patient. I want to support something local. So that's the message today as I try to figure out a way to get everything exported and edited in software that's actually going to behave. Be intentional.